Welcome to Hidden Horizons, where we uncover the most fascinating and overlooked stories from world history. Here, each tale is shaped to ignite your curiosity, revealing truths hidden just beneath the surface of our world. If you find yourself captivated by these mysteries, we gently invite you to like and subscribe. Supporting us helps bring more wonder from the shadows of history into the light. In tonight's episode, we journey into the enigmatic world of civilizations that chose to forsake the sun. Instead of building kingdoms above, they carved entire cities beneath mountains and stone. Together, we'll explore the driving forces: fear, climate, ancient belief that drew these people downward. Settle in as we unravel what pushed entire communities to make the darkness their home. Chapter 1. Beneath the Surface. An Invitation to the Unknown. Our story begins in the hush of dawn, where mist clings to the shoulders of ancient mountain ranges. Silence hangs, broken only by the distant call of wind through rocks. Across these landscapes, the earth conceals more than stone it veils. The secrets of forgotten peoples, their cities hidden deep below, longing to be found. Travel with me now through the dewy silence, imagining the world as it was centuries ago. Towering cliffs and craggy paths rise around us, dissolving in shifting fog. The world overhead seems restful, but below, rumblings of hidden life stir. Whole societies, once thriving under the open sky, slipped into the earth, vanishing from history's plain view. What could have drawn them to such depths? Was it fear, hope, or simply survival? Beneath these timeless stones, stories echo of dangers lurking on the surface, of harsh climates pushing people to seek safety underground. The mountains cradle these mysteries gently, and only those who listen closely may hear their whisper. Inside these hidden realms, darkness becomes sanctuary. Imagine traders, families, craftsmen, all daring to carve existence from darkness. As we wander deeper, the faint drip of water on ancient rock forms a melody carrying their memory. In this quiet underworld, day and night become one, and the sun is only a distant thought. Did these underground dwellers dream of the sky as we do? Or did the earth's embrace become more comforting than the unpredictable surface? In their underground labyrinths, light came from oil lamps and hope from each other. We begin to glimpse their world where safety, belief, and survival are woven tightly in stone. Across every shadowed hall and winding passage, remnants of their lives remain. Pottery shards, faint murals, the smoothed handholds carved into cool rock. Each trace compels us to ponder their everyday struggles and joys, and how, beyond all hardship, they forged a home where most would see only cold emptiness. What stories did the elders tell to soothe the darkness? What rituals banished fear when the world above was no longer theirs? As our journey unfolds, we find more questions than answers. The echo of laughter, murmured prayers, footsteps in unyielding corridors. Reminder that life, even beneath the surface, held beauty and belonging. Tonight's exploration will peel back these layers, inviting you to wonder, to feel the weight and warmth of buried histories. As mist fades above and silence deepens in the stone below, let curiosity guide you further. Together, we will search for the meaning hidden between each chiseled wall and silent cavern, slowly unearthing the secrets of those who vanished beneath our feet. Chapter 2. The Whisper of Fear. In the soft silence of early nights, families gathered close, ears attuned to distant echoes. From the shadows came the stories of bandit raids, sharp, sudden terror that unsettled even the bravest hearts. As villages rested beneath the moon, the ever-present threat of invaders haunted dreams, etching the importance of safety deep within every soul. Fear, like a whisper, urged caution with every approaching footstep. Many centuries ago, worlds above ground trembled beneath heavy footsteps. Marauders swept through fields, their torches lighting up the darkness. Children clung to their parents, listening for the far-off rumble that might signal danger closing in. As invasions grew more frequent, anxiety became woven into everyday life, pushing communities to find new ways of staying safe. The threat was constant, a shadow long before dawn. In these tense times, the lure of the underground began as a quiet idea of promise, of shelter hidden beneath familiar earth. It was not only the fury of enemies that drove people below, but the memory of past attacks that never quite faded. With every retold tale of lost livestock or fallen neighbours, the impulse deepened, down in the soil perhaps, they could finally rest in peace. Underground life offered more than escape. It gave a sense of control. Fear of the unknown lingered above, where forests concealed threats and mountains echoed with the calls of strangers. For every family that chose to dig and hide, the earth became a comforting barrier. Here, in darkness and quiet, the sound of raindrops above brought relief, not dread, protecting secrets and lives alike. Even the softest whisper of a distant drum or crackling fire was enough to set hearts racing. Stories passed from elder to child. The night the bandits came, the day the spears flashed on the horizon. These weren't just stories to entertain, they were warnings, guiding hands that shaped how and where people built their homes. Underground, surrounded by stone, they could exhale at last. Safety was more than shelter from storms. The ground itself became an ally, its steady coolness wrapping around families like a promise. Within Earth's embrace, the world slowed down. Here, voices dropped to whispers, footsteps softened, and even nightmares seemed gentler. For those threatened by the chaos above, each carved chamber was a sanctuary, each narrow passage, a guardian against surprise and chaos. Some nights, the wind carried distant cries warnings from neighbouring villages already under attack. Word travelled quickly, sparking hurried preparations. Earth was moved, tunnels reinforced, supplies secreted in shadowed alcoves. The smallest tremors could turn to alarm, sharpening every sense. This mutual bond with the ground deepened as fear turned communities inward, binding people together beneath a cloak of secrecy and shared watchfulness. Over generations, fear became tradition. Defensive tunnels were mapped in memory and song, each passage a symbol of resilience. Children learned young the fastest routes below, the places to hide, and the sounds that meant danger. What began as a desperate survival tactic evolved into a distinct way of life, where boundaries were measured not by fences but by the reach of torchlight in darkened stone. With every passing year, the knowledge of how to use the earth for protection grew more refined. Entrances to the underground were disguised carefully among the rocks and roots, hidden from spies. Engineers and wise elders devised tunnels with twists and false ends, confusing those who dared to pursue. The ingenuity spurred by fear became the first blueprint for the subterranean world's a monument to caution and creativity alike. Still, the move downward brought more than just safety. It brought a quiet strength. The darkness nurtured new traditions and rituals of remembrance. Families marked seasons with the changing patterns of light that slipped through cracks above. Fear was never fully banished, but, shielded by the earth, people found hope. Today, the remnants of those ancient underground cities remind us how the whisper of fear shaped and protected early civilization. Chapter 3. Shelters against the elements. Imagine a world where the wind howls like a wild animal, where the sun beats down relentlessly on parched ground. In these harsh landscapes, survival meant finding clever ways to endure. Across distant steppes and merciless deserts, people looked not to the sky, but beneath their feet, searching for protection from the world's harshest moods. Their answer was as ingenious as it was ancient, to build downward. Beneath the bitter cold of the open grasslands and the searing heat of desert dunes, whole communities carved sanctuaries into the earth. Here, thick walls of soil shielded them from freezing winds or unbearable sun. Life below ground was not just for the desperate, it was a testament to human adaptability and will. These spaces became both shield and home, a buffer where the element's fury was reduced to a distant murmur above. With every winter storm that whipped across the plain, or every day when the air itself shimmered with heat, these hidden retreats proved their worth. In narrow tunnels and vaulted chambers, families gathered, animals were kept safe, and stores of food could survive the seasons. The quiet underground became, paradoxically, the place where hope for survival was brightest. A world shaped by necessity and wisdom passed through generations. Imagine stepping down a winding staircase, the frantic world above replaced by muffled quiet. In the cool depths there is a certain peace. The walls around you are sculpted with careful hands, every corner planned to catch light or channel air. These underground shelters were not caves stumbled upon by chance, but crafted havens carved deliberately to outsmart the weather, thoughtfully designed for those who called them home. Communities beneath the ground wove tradition into stone and clay. Generations worked side by side, knowledge blossoming as people learned which angles kept the cold away, how to harness the earth's natural warmth. These sanctuaries echoed with laughter in the shared rooms, quiet footfalls in the corridors. Each shelter told a story of ingenuity, not just in surviving, but in making life beneath the elements worth living. Seasons changed relentlessly. Frozen tempests gave way to dust storms, fierce snows turned to blistering droughts. Yet below, the temperature remained steady and bearable. The underground's embrace erased the sharp edges of climate. Here, the weather's threats seemed almost unreal. A distant legend whispered to children safe in their cozy alcoves, learning how their ancestors conquered nature's extremes through patience, skill, and vision. It was not just about survival, but about thriving within limits. Festivals were held in large chambers, meals cooked with the help of ancient chimneys that funneled smoke away. Songs echoed off stone walls, their melodies carried through corridors. Community became even more vital, with neighbours close by and every action woven together, creating a resilient tapestry of daily life where the world above could only reach so far. Over time, myths were born in the darkness. Elders told tales that the world above belonged to wild spirits or gods, while underground spaces were gifts from the earth, sacred and protective. With every generation, belief and ingenuity fused, transforming necessity into culture. The underground city was not just a refuge, it was a living story, wrapped in quiet mystery and the hum of everyday activity, hidden from the unkind sky. What we find in these shelters is more than their architecture. We see the courage to innovate in the face of overwhelming odds. Every passageway and chamber is evidence of resilience, human spirit etched into stone. Above, the elements may rage and threaten. But below, humanity found balance, crafting warmth and belonging from darkness. Their legacy, carved into the earth itself, speaks to our deepest need for safety and togetherness. As we reflect on these underground worlds, we sense the trust their makers placed in each other and in the earth. These communities tamed the forces of nature, not through confrontation, but by learning its rules and adapting in unexpected ways. Today, the remnants of these subterranean shelters still stand, hidden under fields and desert. They remind us of the ingenuity born from challenge, and how even in the harshest places, people create home. Chapter 4. The Hidden World of Cappadocia. Imagine descending stone steps, light falling away behind you, until only the gentle glow of a lantern reveals your path. Here, beneath the rolling hills of Turkey, rooms and corridors unravel in all directions, chiseled out of soft volcanic rock. Every echo tells a story of hands that shaped shelter from stone, a secret world thoughtfully carved where whole communities found refuge and belonging. As you continue deeper, the tunnels twist and turn, branching off into chambers vast and compact. In some spaces, tables and benches are carved directly from the rock, evidence of families who gathered, shared meals, and memories underground. The gentle hush muffles outside sounds, replaced by the quiet heartbeat of life below. Air shafts cut by ancient ingenuity keep the earth's breath moving, keeping the hidden city comfortable and alive. Honeycombed over many levels, these underground cities once housed thousands. The soft, tough rock of Cappadocia offered the perfect canvas for ancient builders. Carefully, they shaped tunnels that rose and fell, sometimes connecting entire communities through a shadowy warren beneath the earth. Secret doors and rolling stone barriers could seal off hallways at a moment's notice, a testament to both creativity and the constant concern for safety. In these dim and winding passages, light flickers against old carvings and the haunting outlines of ancient prayers. The underground cities were more than just places to hide. They were vibrant centres of daily life, with olive presses, wells, stables, and even schools built into the rock. Every chamber reflects a need, a hope, or a story patiently etched by families determined to thrive where sunlight was rarely seen. The deeper you move, the more Cappadocia's mysteries amplify. Some levels dip more than 60 meters below the surface, each floor burrowed and fashioned to be both shelter and stronghold. Ingenious ventilation shafts snake upward, ensuring the air remains fresh even as thousands gathered out of sight. These shafts, some disguised above ground, kept the subterranean world from becoming a tomb, allowing life to quietly flourish in secret. What drove people to carve such extraordinary shelters? Cappadocia's underground cities were born both from necessity and vision. Invaders and armies swept across Anatolia for centuries. Residents needed a sanctuary. No force could easily penetrate our place to disappear when the world above turned hostile. Thanks to their clever designs, entire populations could vanish in moments, leaving only the stone to watch and wait. But the hidden cities of Cappadocia were more than refuges from fear. For generations, they nurtured faith, community, and resilience. Underground chapels, complete with stone altars, offered spiritual comfort when surface life seemed uncertain. Frescoes faded now by centuries remain in some secret corners, silent witnesses to prayers whispered in candlelit sanctuaries far below the threat of conquest or disaster above. Life underground demanded careful planning. Water cisterns were hollowed deeper still, storing precious supplies. Narrow stairways limited invaders' movement, rolling stones blocked entry at a push. Even livestock found a home here, stabled near the surface, their warmth rising down through the tunnels. Every space was designed to make the most of necessity, turning hardship into a hidden kind of comfort just beneath everyday feet. Walking these tunnels today, you can almost sense the footsteps that came before. Families whispering in the dark, laughter echoing against stone, the silent watch of centuries guarding passageways. The cool, dry air preserves their handiwork, holding stories in every chisel mark. In the hushed atmosphere of Cappadocia's underworld, you might even hear a faint memory, woven into the walls, of what life was like when entire civilizations vanished from sight. The hidden world of Cappadocia reveals both mystery and humanity. It is a testament to the unwavering spirit of survival, to the creativity that blooms under pressure, and to the power of community in the face of fear. These underground cities stand today as silent, enduring witnesses, inviting us to wonder at their ingenuity, and to remember that sometimes the most fascinating chapters in history lie out of sight, deep beneath our very feet. Chapter 5: Subterranean Sanctuaries. In the shadowy embrace of the earth, civilizations have carved sanctuaries that echo with ancient faith and silent prayers. Here, rituals linger long after footsteps have faded. These underground worlds were not merely shelters, but sacred realms shaped by belief. As we enter these halls of reverence, a hush settles, inviting us to listen closely to the whispers of ceremonies and the deep-rooted awe that filled every chamber. Through winding corridors and dim-lit passageways, we discover how faith left its mark on stone. Underground chapels, adorned with symbolic carvings, invite those brave enough to descend and contemplate the mysteries of life and death. Each sculpted column and crypt reflects the yearning for connection with the divine. The atmosphere is thick with tranquility, every surface shaped by hands guided by devotion and the hope of afterlife. In these sanctuaries, flickering torchlight once danced on limestone reliefs, casting shadows that animated sacred stories on the walls. The soft glow revealed intricate symbols, crosses and wings, spirals and eyes. Ancient visitors searched these spaces for spiritual comfort, their voices lifted in solemn chants that lingered in the cool air. Even the silence here holds a reverence that feels almost tangible, settling gently on all who enter. Beneath bustling cities and quiet fields alike, the subterranean sanctuaries served countless generations. Not all who entered came to worship. Some came in mourning, laying loved ones to rest in crypts surrounded by prayers and carved guardians. Each resting place was chosen with care, with faith shaping the journey from this world to the next. The tombs became silent witnesses to hope and remembrance, echoing with love and loss. Carvings along old passageways depict mythical creatures and celestial patterns, reminding visitors that these were places where heaven touched earth. Walls are inscribed with blessings and invocations meant to protect the living and guide the dead. The further we venture, the more the air thickens with devotion, and each footprint seems to join a procession that reaches back through centuries of ritual and reflection. Some sanctuaries were hidden from the world above, entrances masked among rock and root. Faithful few gathered in candle-lit secret, seeking refuge from danger or persecution. Underground, time slowed, hearts beat in unison around a shared tradition. Here, the boundary between sacred and everyday dissolved, and the darkness became a guardian, preserving rites that might disappear in the glare of the sun. Not all spaces were solemn. Some chambers echoed with celebration and ritual feasting. Tables carved from stone, bowls of offerings, and faded murals tell stories of gatherings that honoured gods and ancestors. These ceremonies wove community together, reminding each person that below ground, separated from storms and strife above, faith was the mortar binding souls into a tapestry of memory and meaning. Even in decay, the sanctuaries retain a timeless serenity. Moss may creep across sacred carvings, and dust softens once sharp outlines, but the sense of reverence endures. Visitors move gently, lowering their voices instinctively, as if aware that unseen watchers linger still. The hush is not emptiness, but presence. A quiet chorus of those who came before, their devotion woven into every shadow and stone. As we leave these subterranean chapels and crypts, we carry fragments of their peace with us. The darkness that once seemed foreboding transforms into a mantle of comfort. In ancient times, these spaces kindled hope and ensured continuity through the generations. Today, they remind us of humanity's unbroken search for meaning beneath the surface of the world and within ourselves. When at last we return to the daylight, the memory of these sanctuaries lingers like distant bells. Faith, loss, and wonder are etched deep within the stones, waiting for any who might seek silence or wisdom below the earth. The air above feels different now, touched by the mysteries hidden beneath our feet, and the enduring presence of rituals that shaped hidden worlds beyond ordinary sight. Chapter 6. Life in the Shadow, Daily Routine. Underground, in the winding passageways beneath the earth, life continues with a quiet endurance. Shadows flicker along the walls, and gentle voices echo softly under stone ceilings. Here, every day begins far from the touch of sunlight, with a routine born of necessity and shaped by community. People have learned to thrive, adapting their ancient customs to the rhythms of their underground sanctuary. Families gather each morning around tables carved from cool rock, sharing bread and softly spoken stories passed between generations. To rest, a gentle unity among them, forged by shared challenge and enduring hope. Children play nearby, their laughter drifting through the dim corridors as a likeness in the dark. Old songs, remembered from the surface world, find new life in the quiet melodies carried by the cavern's hush. Throughout the day, artisans work by torchlight, hands steady as they shape tools, pottery, and ornate patterns on stone. The glow of flames reveals diligent faces, skilled in crafts maintained through centuries of change. Every workshop hums with purpose, the constant ticking of chisels and hammers making music of survival. Traditions, once open to sun and wind, now bloom quietly beneath the earth, resilient and cherished as ever. Farther along, underground kitchens bustle with warmth and the aromas of slow-cooked meals. Fires burn low, their embers illuminating faces both young and old. Water is gathered thoughtfully from deep wells, every resource treasured. Women and men work side by side, stirring pots and shaping loaves, their motions a comfort in the twilight world. Sharing food becomes a daily celebration, an act of hope stitched into the fabric of subterranean life. Children explore the shadowed corridors, inventing games with flickering shadows and echoing footsteps. Their imaginations transform corners into hidden kingdoms and tunnels into secret passageways. Laughter fills the spaces where fear might linger, turning uncertainty into adventure. Stories are whispered in the dark, tales of ancient heroes and bold journeys, inspiring even the smallest hearts to embrace the mysteries of their underground home. Elders gather in quiet alcoves, sharing wisdom by lamp or lantern. Their voices are gentle, threading lessons through patient smiles and knowing glances. They recount days when sunlit meadows were commonplace, teaching younger generations to find beauty and meaning below the earth. Their resilience acts as a guiding star for all, reminding the entire community that courage and kindness flourish, even where sunlight cannot reach. Market spaces come alive as daylight would once, with traders offering roots, preserved fruits, and crafts. Bargains are made in hushed tones, each exchange built on trust and neighbourly care. The scent of baked bread mingles with the tang of minerals, painting a tapestry of sensory comfort. Every transaction weaves a stronger bond among people, reinforcing that beneath the surface, connection and generosity matter more than ever. More than ever. In quiet moments, individuals find peace. Some meditate in hollowed chambers, listening to the steady drip of water or the faint heartbeats of the earth. Others write, sing, or carve their thoughts into stone, leaving humble marks for future generations to find. Each act of reflection becomes a gentle rebellion against forgetting, a promise that their world below is not only a refuge, but a place of memory and meaning. Night in the underground city is marked not by darkness, but by the deep hush that settles like a blanket. Torches are dimmed, laughter softens, and families draw close in their carved rooms. Dreams drift along the stone corridors, whispering of the green world above and the lives once lived under open skies. Even here, hope glows quietly, sustaining all until the morning's careful routines begin again. Each passing day deepens the people's bond to their underground home. What began as an act of survival has become a tapestry of shared experience, courage, and adaptation. Every routine, from the baking of bread to the play of children, testifies to a community's strength. Life in the shadow, though shaped by necessity, flourishes with the same quiet dignity and warmth as any world touched by sunlight. Chapter 7. The Tools that Carve the Darkness. Beneath the ground, where sunlight never reached, necessity became the mother of invention. Here, people transformed scavenged antlers, animal bones, and stones into their first chisels, picks, and hammers. Simple in design, yet indispensable, these humble implements shaped shelter out of solid stone, evidence of determination and ingenuity. Each mark they left in the earth was a testament to perseverance and hope. Tasked with carving entire towns below the surface, ancient craftsmen turned to what nature provided. Antler picks, sharpened with fire and patience, became their allies against the stubborn rock. Chisels cut pathways, while crude hammers delivered the rhythmic percussion that resonated in the underground silence. It was slow work, each swing a small victory, but over time their coordinated efforts revealed grand halls, arched passages, and interlocking homes. Imagine the echo of tools. The steady, determined tapping of stone against stone, the scrape of bone working through compacted earth. In those hollow chambers where the only light could be coaxed from smouldering torches, every sound carried. These echoes spoke of community, cooperation, and relentless willpower, a world, shaped not by grand machines, but by hands guided through darkness by vision and need. The subterranean architects were guided by more than necessity. They were fueled by a spirit of innovation. Creating specialized tools for different types of stone, they learned which materials produced the sharpest edge or withstood repeated use. The antler, flexible yet strong, became invaluable. Fire played a crucial role, hardening wood into sharper points and offering the light needed to glimpse the work at hand. Fire-hardened poles punctuated deeper layers of earth, expanding passages patiently over years. Workshops underground became hives of creativity and labor, where men and women molded simple resources into increasingly sophisticated tools. Each implement told its own story, some marked by repeated repairs, others worn smooth from a lifetime of service. Through these heirlooms of stone and bone, the ingenuity of their makers endured. Despite the harsh conditions, low light, stifling air, and relentless dust, the builders continued, day after day and season after season. Their perseverance transformed caves into sanctuaries, solid rock into meeting halls. Even the smallest tool, no bigger than a finger, played a part in this enormous task. Every shelf, alcove, and stair was a quiet celebration of human persistence against daunting odds. Skill passed from hand to hand, generation to generation. Younger members studied the careful movements of their elders, the measured strike, the way a chisel was turned, just so. Over time, they discovered subtleties, how to listen to the stone, to sense where it would yield or where it might crack. This underground apprenticeship wove craftspeople together, their shared task forging bonds as enduring as the rock they shaped. Tools evolved as needs changed. As chambers widened and homes grew more ambitious, new designs emerged. Bigger chisels for hallways and finer points for intricate carvings. Creativity flourished even in darkness, where the minds of artisans saw not just shelter, but a canvas for expression. Patterns began to appear on walls and ceilings, telling stories as old as the stone itself, etched with the same tools that had carved out safety. What began as survival became an act of craftsmanship. Hidden beneath the earth, artisans celebrated their world with geometric patterns and animal shapes, transforming simple caves into vibrant communities. Each carving bore silent witness to countless hours of effort and skill, the result of relentless adaptation and care. The tools, worn but cherished, became extensions of their makers' quiet bond between past and present, memory and ambition. In these shadowy halls, every groove in the rock still speaks of human will and ingenuity. The antler pick and the bone chisel are reminders that even the humblest of tools can leave a legacy. Carving through the darkness, these ancient craftsmen lit a path not only for themselves, but for all who would seek refuge and meaning below the surface. Their story endures, engraved deep within the earth. Chapter 8. Myths and Spirits in the Deep. In the darkness beneath the earth, people tell stories to make sense of shadows and silence. Each tunnel and cavern stirs the imagination, giving rise to legends of beings unseen yet deeply felt. The underground world becomes more than a shelter. It transforms into a stage for age-old myths, where fear and wonder are woven together by generations seeking meaning in the depths. Some say the walls themselves breathe, alive with the spirits of ancestors who once dwelled below. Protective guardians are imagined to walk these corridors, watching over children and wanderers alike. Stories told by miners and families claim that gentle voices or flickering lights guide the lost back to safety, as if unseen hands shape their path, painting the deep with whispers of compassion and warning. There are tales of monsters, to a lurching shadow slipping between the stone arches at the edge of a child's lantern. These creatures are not always evil, but serve as reminders of boundaries that should not be crossed. Elders whisper these tales, urging respect for the living earth. A delicate balance exists between survival and defense, and every myth is a quiet lesson etched into the memory of the underground. The deeper one travels, the more legends seem to entwine with reality. Sacred waters hidden in narrow crevices are thought to hold healing powers, watched over by spirits that blend with the chorus of dripping echoes. Children toss small offerings, smooth stones, bits of yarn into these pools, hoping to win the favour of the underground guardians, their hopes and fears reflected in the shimmering black water beneath. Around communal fires, stories grow with the telling. Soft voices recall a time when a mighty guardian serpent slumbered just beyond the walls, its breath causing mysterious tremors in the stone. Others speak of friendly spirits who teach secret songs, believed to calm the trembling earth. Each legend, whether comforting or unsettling, weaves a tapestry of belief that holds the community together, keeping darkness at bay. For some, the boundary between spirit and stone fades completely. The underground world feels alive with presence every echo, every subtle draft carrying the suggestion of invisible company. As tools strike the rock, workers sometimes pause, convinced they have heard a name softly called out, a gentle reminder that in these old tunnels, myth and memory dwell side by side, forever entwined. Not all spirits are imagined as distant or ancient. Some tales speak of protectors who appear only when danger approaches a sudden warmth, or the sense of a gentle hand guiding someone to safety when a tunnel shudders. These stories are kept alive by those who have narrowly escaped disaster, lending mystery to every trembling stone and unexpected draught that stirs the dust. Guardians often take the form of animal sowls hiding in shadowy alcoves, silent foxes glimpsed among the pillars of stone. Their rare appearances are seen as omens, messages from the underground world. A fleeting sighting might mean luck or caution, inspiring rituals meant to honor both creature and cavern. Every animal spirit is part of a larger pattern, hints from the unseen depths guiding the lives of those below. Repeatedly, the telling of these stories becomes a way to map the underground itself, not just by tunnels and chambers, but by stretches haunted by certain legends. Danger zones are named for their ghosts or monsters, while places rumoured to shelter friendly spirits become chosen spots for rest and celebration. In this way, myth and environment merge, turning stone into story and shaping how people move through their hidden world. As the chapter draws to a close, the legends serve a quieter purpose, offering comfort in the face of endless dark. Myths of guardians and kind spirits give hope where sunlight never reaches, softening the edges of fear and uncertainty. In the hush beneath the earth, stories live on, echoing through generations, a secret bond between the living, the departed, and the deep, mysterious world below. Chapter 9. Connection and Isolation. Beneath the ground, life carried on in quiet defiance of the surface world. Each corridor and chamber in the subterranean city held echoes of laughter and whispered dreams. The paradox was ever present. People were shielded from danger above, yet a longing remained. Safe together, yet apart from all they once knew, they sought new ways to connect, to remind themselves of the world beyond their stone boundaries. There were moments, in the soft hush of the underground night, when yearning rose like gentle mist. Stories were shared of blue skies and sunlight not only as memories, but as hopes painted fresh with every retelling. Children listened wide-eyed, imagining clouds and birds, while elders quietly touched keepsakes buried deep within woolen pouches. These simple rituals bridged the gap between their hidden refuge and the vast openness that still called to their souls. Carved into rocky ceilings, small shafts let in rare beams of daylight that travelled far to illuminate communal spaces. Gatherings often assembled around these luminous slivers, people tilted their faces upward as if in silent worship. Even a fleeting sunray could inspire music, or the gentle flutter of poetry recited by candlelight. The delicate bond to the surface was treasured, savoured, and never taken for granted in the hush below ground. Isolation was a feeling that crept in quietly, growing with time. Some fashioned gardens from gathered moss or seeds smuggled from above. Green life, tender and tenacious, wound between stones, reminders of springtime and renewal whispered between root and leaf. Tending these small hidden gardens became a source of comfort, an act of faith that one day the world above would welcome them once more. Messages passed between families took clever forms. Letters etched on thin stone tablets or woven into patterns on blankets. Each was a bridge of words and memories, crossing empty spaces with hope. Tales from travellers, rare as they were, became treasures in themselves. Listeners clung to updates about the lands and loved ones overhead, imagining reunions and the gentle return of old ways. Night in the underground city brought its own customs of togetherness. People gathered quietly around fires, their faces illuminated by the shifting glow as they shared stories in hushed voices. In those moments, the city felt less isolated, unified instead by the warmth of community and shared purpose. The comfort of presence, even in shadow, dulled the sharpness of longing for the world above. Occasionally, a determined few would venture upward, returning with news a shift in weather, a distant animal call, a scrap of wildflower. These tokens were cherished and shared, passed from hand to hand as if each contained a secret message of promise. Such connections, fleeting and fragile, nourished the hearts of those below, keeping dreams of sunlight and open fields alive, even in the deepest winters of their exile. For some, isolation birthed reflection and creativity. Artisans shaped the stone itself into murals, swirling patterns that echoed mountain winds or river currents remembered from childhood. Through art, they expressed their connection to a world they could no longer see. Imagination opened doorways, transforming rough stone into shifting scenes of sky, forest, and thunder, so no one would ever truly forget what lay above them. Children especially felt the split between safety and separation. Their games imitated birds, or chased the imagined sun across tunnels and alcoves. Laughter rebounded along the halls, breaking the silence and weaving threads of hope. With each playful echo, elders were reminded that while the separation was real, the spark of connection, imagination, love, and longing remained resilient, shaping the rhythms of hidden life below. In the end, the underground community learned that isolation was not absence, but a different shape of togetherness. The ties they forged through shared memory, ritual, and the smallest rays of sunlight wove a fabric stronger than stone. Above, the world waited. Below, these people endured, bound as much by hope and longing as by the walls around them, forever reaching for connection amidst the hush of earth and shadow. Chapter 10. Rediscovery. The Echoes of Forgotten Cities. Centuries slipped quietly by, and beneath layers of earth, the cities once filled with vibrant life fade from memory. Dust settles where laughter echoed, and the halls fall silent. But time, mysterious and patient, waits for curious hands to return. It is here, among the forgotten corridors, that the story of rediscovery begins, a gentle unravelling of secrets left slumbering in the dark. Shadows flicker on ancient stone as a new generation finds its way into these lost places. Their lanterns cast golden pools of light, flickering across crumbling murals and carvings that once meant everything to those who walked these passageways. Each step stirs motes of memory, swirling gently in the chill air. With every careful footfall, explorers feel both reverence and anticipation, knowing they are on the threshold of something extraordinary. Dust rises in lazy spirals as heavy doors, untouched for centuries, slowly groan open. The hiss of displaced air is the only sound, followed by the collective intake of breath from those who witness this unveiling. Ancient hinges protest, but surrender at last, revealing chambers draped in shadow. Here, time seems suspended. Each explorer stands still, awestruck, listening to the silent stories held by stone and silent stories held by stone and silence alike. Beneath wavering torchlight, colours emerge from the gloom. Faded blues, ochres, and crimson shapes spiral along the rough-hewn walls. Old murals whisper of festivals long past, of guardians and myth, of sunlit lives forced beneath Earth's embrace. Each painted figure reveals another piece of the puzzle, their arms outstretched in greeting or warning, caught between memory and myth. The explorers trace the outlines, hearts beating in quiet wonder. In the stillness, echoes carry soft footsteps on worn stone, faint traces of voices humming from somewhere deep within the maze. The explorers pause to imagine who walked these tunnels before them. What dreams and fears shaped the chambers behind each wall. Slowly, they piece together forgotten rituals and everyday lives, weaving together the tapestry of a world hidden just beneath the surface, waiting patiently to be remembered. Pools of silence stretch between discoveries, the hush broken only by whispers as each artifact is revealed. Fingers brush away centuries of dust from pottery, jewellery or tools, raising questions about the hands that crafted them. Here, a child's toy, there, a ceremonial mask. The relics speak to resilience and hope, to laughter shared in dim corridors, to prayers uttered far below the world above. Every find deepens their awe. Some explorers linger in a vast communal hall, their voices swallowed by the unseen heights overhead. They marvel at stone tables and alcoves, at walls that once echoed with gatherings and feasts. Each mark, each groove, is a testament to the determination and creativity of those who carved life from rock. In the silence, they imagine celebrations, and in their reverence, they become brief guests in the ancient story. Further down passages, a tapestry of ancient stories unfurls glyphs, etched deep into the walls, recounting legends of creation and survival. The script, though partially lost to erosion, flickers in the lantern's glow. Explorers decipher shapes, a wave, a sun figures huddled near a fire. They read with patience, feeling the invisible thread that ties them to those who hoped their stories would endure, even when their cities did not. Emerging from shadowed doorways, explorers find signs of hurried departure of scattered belongings, hastily scrawled messages, and food stores left behind. The rooms tell a tale of urgency, of lives interrupted by forces unknown. Yet in these remnants the story persists, a community that endured, adapted, and vanished, leaving behind not emptiness, but an invitation to remember. Each rediscovery stirs empathy for those lost to time. As lanterns fade and it is time to return above, the explorers carry with them more than artifacts. They bear the hushed awe of reawakening a forgotten civilization. The cities sleep once again, but their secrets have been touched by light. The echoes of the past mingle with today's footsteps, assuring us that even what is lost can find its way home, when patient hearts are willing to seek and listen beneath the surface. Chapter 11. Lessons from the Deep Past. In the quiet of the underground chambers, we discover more than just echoes of ancient footsteps. The struggles and triumphs of those who built downward remind us that every shadow once held hope. Their courage to innovate and adapt resonates across centuries, urging us to reflect on challenges we face in our own lives. What can we learn when we listen closely to the wisdom of the earth? What can we learn when we listen closely to the wisdom of the earth? As we walk through these silent halls, traces of resilience linger in the stones. The ancient builders confronted unknown dangers and adapted to life beneath the surface with remarkable ingenuity. From their labyrinths we gather lessons not just in construction, but endurance. Their willingness to reshape their world quite literally reminds us that human ingenuity flourishes even in the darkest times, and that adaptation is a story as old as civilization itself. Imagine for a moment the fears that drove people below, ground fears of invasion, of famine, of the unpredictable elements above. Today, our uncertainties may take different forms, but the core of human anxiety remains the same. By studying these subterranean societies, we see that courage is not the absence of fear, but the ability to find creative solutions in spite of it. Innovation rooted in necessity and hope. Their deep chambers were once sanctuaries, places where families gathered, stories were shared, and life continued despite the world's turmoil. These underground spaces stand as monuments to human tenacity. They show us that comfort and safety can be reimagined, shaped by the needs of the time, and that even under pressure, communities can unite to create something enduring and meaningful. Looking at the stone-carved rooms, we see evidence of careful planning and communal effort. Every carved wall and winding corridor tells a story of people coming together, pooling knowledge and resources to survive. This spirit of collaboration runs through history, urging us to face our current challenges not in isolation, but together, inspired by those who made a home in the depths of the earth. As the camera pans slowly across empty tunnels, consider the adaptability woven into these ancient blueprints. When faced with changing climates and threats from above, these civilizations did not abandon their hopes, but shifted them underground. Their ability to transform and evolve offers us a gentle reminder. When the world changes, we are capable of changing with it, drawing from our inner reserves of creativity and perseverance. For those who carved homes out of stone, the earth itself became both shield and canvas. Their willingness to redefine boundaries to see possibility where others saw only limit shaped their survival. Modern societies, too, face crossroads that demand new thinking. By looking to the past, we remember that every crisis holds opportunities for reimagining, and every difficulty is a chance to build something lasting and true. Empty as these chambers may seem now, they pulse with lessons about resilience. Stones may crumble and memories may fade, but the spirit of innovation lingers. Each underground city is both a monument to necessity and a testament to the courage it takes to face the unknown. Today, as we encounter new uncertainties, we are invited to draw strength from these silent halls and their ancient wisdom. The past does not promise easy answers, but offers quiet guidance. If we listen, the echoes from these buried cities remind us that fear can be a doorway to creativity, and that comfort sometimes waits in unexpected places. The ancients' courage and adaptability invite us to reflect gently on our own possibilities, reminding us that history is alive in every choice we make when confronting modern uncertainty. As we leave these subterranean spaces behind, we carry with us more than images. We hold in our hearts the lessons etched into stone by those long gone. The civilizations that built downward challenge us to face our fears, to adapt with grace, and to trust in human ingenuity. Their stories whisper encouragement, that beneath the surface, resilience flourishes still, guiding us bravely into the future. Chapter 12. Surface and Soul, Returning to the Light. We emerge slowly, tracing each step upward through the vast roots of ancient earth. The walls echo with every story, every promise kept by the underground dwellers who once walked these shadowed corridors. With each breath above, a new world of sun and sky unfolds. The moment is heavy with departure, yet touched by the hope that always lives beyond the next horizon. The ancient inhabitants climb toward the promise of daylight. Their footsteps mix with memory and longing as stone gives way to softer earth. The journey is both ending and beginning, a tapestry weaving together what was left below and what waits above. With each step, they carry the comfort of the darkness and the gentle anticipation of open air. This ascent is a bridge, connecting two worlds separated not just by stone, but by understanding. As they rise, shafts of sunlight spill down, shimmering across worn faces and tired hands. The underground echoes fade into the background, replaced by birdsong and a gentle rush of wind. Their eyes adjust, blinking at the brilliance, hearts grow lighter. To res a sense of leaving pieces of themselves behind, yet something essential is reclaimed in the embrace of the surface. The cycle of shelter and discovery continues, unbroken through the ages. With each step upward, the burden of secrecy and centuries-old fears lifts gently from their shoulders. The tunnels behind them hold wisdom, silence, and the shared resilience of generations. The surface is uncertain, yet inviting, a place where stories may wander free, untethered by stone. Emerging together, they are both lost and found belonging not only to themselves, but to all who search for home in darkness and in light. The narrator's voice softens, inviting listeners to imagine what it would be like to breathe that first sweet air after lifetimes spent below. Trésor, but also a quiet courage in facing the unknown. Above ground, familiar stars wait overhead, marking the passage of time. The ground beneath feels strange yet comforting, a reminder that the human spirit adapts forever, seeking places of safety and connection, wherever they may be found. Now sunlight warms weary faces and illuminates the path forward. The ancient people pause, hearts swelling with gratitude for what they endured and wonder for what lies ahead. The earth that once shielded them becomes a gentle memory, its embrace never truly left behind. Through calm reflection, we sense humanity's endless rhythm, retreating, exploring, returning, always carrying threads of belonging from one world into the next. A hush lingers in the air, as if the world itself waits to honor this moment of crossing. For the first time in generations, the surface welcomes those who shaped their lives in darkness. The sounds of life above ground are unfamiliar. Soft grass underfoot, distant rivers, the hum of wind through trees. Gratitude and hope blend quietly in the soul as new horizons call and the story of sheltering and seeking continues. Looking back at the passageways beneath, there's a recognition that every journey, no matter how hidden or difficult, leaves a mark. The earth below now holds their legacy. On the surface, every breath feels lighter, scented with freedom and possibility. The search for belonging is eternal, shaping each step forward. In the golden calm of sunrise, ancient fears transform into a profound, quiet hope for tomorrow. As the light grows stronger, the journey's weight shifts into memory, rich with lessons of endurance and kinship. The underground was refuge, a testament to ingenuity and the will to survive. Now, every glance upward is a promise, a renewal of the human spirit's drive to find place, meaning, and peace. Above and below, every era echoes with this longing and quiet strength, forever intertwined in the story of humanity. In these final reflections, the narrator invites us to pause and wonder about our own roots and journeys. What would we carry from the darkness into the light? What fragments of our past give us shelter, and which ones inspire us to seek new beginnings? Humanity's search is never truly over. We move between layers, always reaching for warmth, belonging, and the promise of another sunrise. The story continues gently onward,